Joining me now from Atlanta, Georgia, Democrat political strategist and Daily Ledger contributor, Tharon Johnson. Tharon, what if you held a primary or two or three and nobody was paying attention because of the coronavirus? And so Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, but Joe Biden kind of slips in there and then quietly picks up 3 victories. This is the coronation process, really, that Joe Biden and the Democrat Party had been looking for a la Hillary 4 years ago.
Well, Graham, I think that, number one, it's good to see you, and please be safe out here during these tough times. But then secondly, I would tell you that what we're seeing for former Vice President Joe Biden is really the hard work that he's been putting in for decades in this country. I think that while the pathway for Senator Sanders to become the Democratic nominee is very, very unlikely, I do think that you got to give a lot of credit to former Vice President Joe Biden for really just sticking in there and, quite frankly, building the coalition that we all know that he needs to build to beat Donald Trump in November in 2020. I think what you saw with the states that voted yesterday was that he has been working very, very hard. His campaign has been working tirelessly to build the right coalitions and, more importantly, have the ground game in these key states. And so I think, look, while Senator Sanders is highly unlikely to be the Democratic nominee, I do think that his message around healthcare and education and the economy is needed in this ongoing debate.
You know, the coronavirus, it really kind of helps Joe Biden. It helps him kind of slip in there and get on track. He needs to build some momentum as you head into Milwaukee and the coronation process of the Democrat National Convention. It also helps people not pay attention to his gaffes. I mean, even delivering the speech last night, he kind of went askew. But when you talk about credit, I think you got to give credit to Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar for getting out of the way quickly so people can coalesce around a candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the writing was on the wall for those people who were running for president. And what I mean by credit, listen, Graham, I've been watching you for a long time, and months, you've been saying, like a lot of us, that we thought that old Uncle Joe was probably not going to make it into Super Tuesday. Well, guess what? Uncle Joe surprised us all. Not only did he dominate in South Carolina, he won a majority, if not all, of the states on Super Tuesday. And so I want to thank the senators who have gotten out the race, and definitely Mayor Pete, who have basically come around. And let's not forget Beto O'Rourke as well, who came and endorsed him. And so, listen, the momentum is on the side of the Biden campaign right now. I think that the Sanders campaign has got to reassess. They're not out. They just got to reassess. And ultimately, our goal is not to have a broker convention. We want to have as much of a democratic and peaceful process as possible.
And I think that Bernie Sanders and his team is reassessing right now. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere, per se. I certainly know he's canceling Facebook ads. Obviously, that tells you something, that maybe they're burning through cash or maybe they're trying to save some money, what have you. But the bottom line is Bernie Sanders, his message is not going to go anywhere. And he is going to be, one way or another, hook or by crook, he's going to drive the agenda, and Joe Biden is going to necessarily have to adopt some of what Bernie Sanders is throwing out there. You agree?
Absolutely. And I think that you saw former Vice President Joe Biden, after his recent wins, sort of extend an olive branch to the Sanders campaign and his supporters. And so what you're seeing is a very presidential Joe Biden saying, listen, I'm going to be the nominee, but I need Bernie Sanders and I need all of his supporters. And let's have a open dialogue about some of the issues that the Sanders campaign has really done a phenomenal job to the forefront.
And so between now and July, they've got to come to some sort of agreement on terms of policy and the Bernie Sanders agenda, because you don't want to upset the Bernie bots out there, because there's a lot of time between now and July in Milwaukee, and I'm sure you'll be there. Tharon, thank you, and don't be a stranger now.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.